It's the Robin Trower Group and Messin' the Blues. Lady C, Everybody's Girlfriend from J.J. Chow. Gary Wright, Power of Love, Jump Street Boz Skaggs, and the Marshall Tucker Band. Up top, the Windy City Blues for the Hooples at New Sonic here at Westchester 107 WRNW. 23 and a half past 11.
We'll give you the sunshine. Love to see you smile. High above the city. See a country mile. Hey, you can see it. We're really flying high. A change has come upon 11 Alive.
This fall, 11 is alive. Alive with action on Emergency 1, weeknights at 6. Alive with comedy at 7 with The Odd Couple. Major primetime movies at 8. And great late-night comedy starting at 11. 11 is alive, and you can see it.
Hey, you can see it. We're really flying high. A change has come upon 11 Alive.
Hey, the preceding announcement was brought to you by WPIX Channel 11. Geez, that guy gets awfully excited about TV and the X-rays that you get from watching it too close. There's a tower of power.
total loss, eh?
lost your mind sometimes if you act the fool at the car wash. Whoa, 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 whoa. Talking about the car wash, yeah. Come on, y'all, and sing it for me. Car wash. Woo, woo, woo. Car wash, yeah. Work and work. Well, those cars never seem to stop coming. Work and work. Keep those bags and machines humming. Work and work. My fingers to the bone. Work. If I can't wait till it's time to go home. Hey, get your car washed today. Fill up and you don't have to pay. Come on and give us a play. Get it washed right away. Car wash. Talking about the car wash. Car wash, yeah. Come on, y'all, and sing it with me. Car wash. Sing it with feeling, y'all. Car wash, yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa. Those cars never seem to stop coming. What I say, keep those bags and machines humming. Let me tell you, it's always cute. And the boss don't matter sometimes if you act the fool at the car wash. Working at the car wash, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Car wash. Talking about the car wash, yeah. Car wash, yeah. Car wash. Car wash, yeah. Car wash. Car wash, yeah. Car wash. Car wash, yeah.
From the original soundtrack from the movie of the same name, it's Car Wash. You'll laugh your buns off if you go and see it. I recommend it. Get Away from Earth, Wind, and Fire's brand new album, The Tower of Power, with Script Cakes here at Westchester 107 WRNW.
The Nitty Gritty Dirt Band will entertain and make music for you on October 18th at the Westchester Premier Theater. Along with the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, special guest John Hartford will perform for one show only.
Hey, babe, you want a boogie?
I knew a man, Bojangles, and he danced for you in worn-out shoes.
It's Monday, October 18th at the Westchester Premier Theater in Tarrytown. A night of finger-licking, toe-stomping, good music with the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band and John Hartford. Tickets are available at the box office and all Ticketron outlets. For information, call 914-332-0500.
Yes, your listener card will be good for a 10% discount on October 18th only. The City Nitty Gritty Dirt Band and Johnny Hartford. Coming to the Westchester premiere on November 2, Loudon Wainwright and The New Writers. Well, Teddy Boy Bonnet and his Action News team is here with part 3 of Searchlight.
This is the third of a 5-part special edition of Searchlight, investigating the Mexican injustice system. Today we continue our conversation with Dwight Worker, who spent 2 years in a Mexican prison. Yesterday he described the horrid situation in those jails in reference to prisoner torture, extortion, and mistreatment. While in those jails, he staged a protest by calling a hunger strike.
I was the leader in the hunger strike, and after 17 days of not eating, they dragged me off to the psychiatric ward for electroshock treatment to break up the hunger strike. I mean, they were willing to do anything.
Dwight then contacted representatives of his country in Mexico, the American Embassy in Mexico City. He asked them for their help. After a long wait, a man by the name of Dan Root from the American Embassy met with Dwight. After Dwight pleaded with him for help, Mr. Root said that there was nothing that he could do. At that point, Dwight threatened to write his congressman.
That was the stupidest thing in the world to say at the bottom of a dungeon, with petty punk bravado, saying, I'm going to write my congressman. And he says, well, I'll take care of you. And he goes and talks to the colonel, the guy who runs the prison, and they take me back to the dormitory, and the prisoners in the dorm, in Spanish, quote to me everything that I said to Dan Root. And I spoke with Dan Root privately. There were no other people around. And then they tie me up and whip me for making problems for El Hombre de Embajada, for making problems against the embassy man. I mean, so obviously the embassy was in collusion as far as the extortion went on. This Dan Root, by the way, recommended that individual American prisoners use a lawyer by the name of Jorge Avalos Ortiz. Now, first of all, it is against U.S. consular consul policy to recommend any individual lawyer. That is a violation of the law. Well, I'm a witness to Root recommending a bunch of people to use Avalos, and he recommended the prisoners' relatives and parents, too, and they sent him collectively over $150,000, taking Dan Root of the U.S. Embassy, taking his word. Dan Root's official position at the time was vice consul in charge of prisoner affairs, and Avalos just robbed $150,000, and nothing ever came of it. No one ever saw him again.
But they did eventually find Avalos, and when they did, Dwight explains, something of enormous importance was disclosed.
Avalos was arrested, a year later, and he signed a statement witnessed by the vice consul from the Canadian embassy, and it was on the statement he said that he did not sign it under duress, and Avalos said that he and Root were working together to defraud U.S. prisoners down there of money. Now, Dan Root has disappeared to Brazil, and I'm a witness to it, and I would testify under oath that Dan Root, did defraud people, but all the other witnesses are in prison in Mexico City, and they're in prison for 7 to 15 years, and it is very convenient for the United States State Department to keep to keep those prisoners there because of the statute of limitations. Because there's some fairly documentable evidence and a lot of witnesses to it as to some of the illegal dealings of the U.S. Embassy in Mexico City.
If this is true, it brings across substantial evidence of widespread corruption, from the Mexican court system to prisons all the way to the American embassy. Not only is this alleged corruption literally robbing people of thousands of dollars, but it is also jeopardizing the lives and well-being of our own people, that being U.S. citizens in Mexican prisons. After Dwight spoke to Mr. Root, something terrible happened.
3 days after I asked Dan Root for help, they said, well, it's time to pay the money, the $1,000, and I said, I haven't got it yet, and they tried to kill me. They stabbed me 3 times in the guts, beat me unconscious.
Wait a minute, who stabbed you then?
Mexican prisoners within the prison, extortionists who run the prison. Now, understand, the whole prison is based on money. It is completely based on money. That's the only way that prison ran, was just by however much money they could get from you. And they had ingenious ways of getting it.
And you refused to pay them?
Well, I didn't have any money. They had gotten me already. But this was 3 days after I asked for help from Dan Root. They stabbed me, tried to kill me. I spent another few weeks in the hospital. I've got some nice scars on my side from it.
Finally, Dwight broke down. He decided to play their game and arranged his parents to send hundreds of dollars monthly to pay off bribes to prevent himself from being killed. But then, with careful planning and a lot of luck, Dwight and his then-fiancée, now wife, formed an incredibly planned escape that resulted in the first successful escape from the Black Palace since Pancho Villa 60 years ago. After realizing that they would have to cross 5 different checkpoints, they concluded that they could only attempt such an escape once every 42 days if conditions were right.
We just figured that it was possible. There was just a certain way that it could be done by escaping as a woman. And though I'm 5'10", which was taller than most of the Mexican men down there, we still thought I could do it. And so my wife made me a complete set of clothes and risked her personal freedom to smuggle it all in, and she took tremendous risk and smuggled in about 20 other things that I needed, including perfect paper forgeries and all of that. And it took us 4 months to get everything in, and had we been caught on any of it, my wife would have done 4 to 12 years. And I should mention that we were engaged at this point. We weren't married, and we had been trying to get married. And we knew for months in advance that our escape date would be December 17th at 1:42 p.m. We just had measured it all out, and that would be the time. We just knew that would be the date. I mean, or that's when it seemed like things would be most auspicious. And so, but we've been trying to get married, and they told us December 10th, and then December 13th, and finally they told us they were marrying us December 17th in the morning. So on December 17th, I mean, I had done some of the preliminary preparations, like I'd shaved my legs and painted my toenails and all, and then I put my pants and my socks back on, and my wife, my fiancée and I went off and we got married, and then 3 hours later I escaped from prison, and it worked just perfect clockwork. They arrested 15 guards, threw them in prison. For 3 days, they looked for my body in the sewers, figuring I'd been killed and chopped up and flushed down. The U.S. Embassy announced that I had been murdered. No one can escape from there. The whole works. And they threw a bunch of guards in prison. Went pretty insane over the whole thing.
How did you get across the border?
That was actually pretty easy. I had perfect forgeries, forged tourist card, forged identification, and I got back in Christmas Eve, 1975. And as soon as I crossed that border, I got down on my hands and knees, and I kissed that Arizona sand, and I brushed it off my lips, and I kissed it again and again, and I was crying, and I entered the United States with just the clothes in my back and no money in my pockets, and I was the happiest, most wealthy man in the world.
Though the ending of Dwight Worker's story ends on a happy note, there are still hundreds of American citizens in Mexico still undergoing hard mistreatment. Tomorrow we'll look into what's being done, if anything, about correcting this inexcusable situation. This is Ted Bonnet.
Yes, yes, and the next part of this special report investigating the Mexican injustice system will be aired the same time tomorrow.
Panama red, Panama red. Exterior woman, they didn't rob your head. Panama red, Panama red. On his white horse, Mescalito, he comes breezing through town. Bet your woman is up in bed with old Panama red. The judge don't know when red's in town. He keeps well hidden underground. Everybody's acting lazy, falling out or hanging around. My woman said, hey, Pedro, you're acting crazy like a clown. Nobody feels like working. Panama red is back in town. Panama red, Panama red. Exterior woman, they didn't rob your head. Panama red, Panama red. On his white horse, Mescalito, he comes breezing through town. Bet your woman is up in bed with old Panama red. Everybody's looking out for him, 'cause they know red's satisfied. Little girls like to listen to him sing, tell sweet lies. But when things get too confusing, honey, we're better off in bed. And I'll be searching all the joints in town for Panama red, Panama red, Panama red. Exterior woman, they didn't rob your head. Panama red, Panama red. On his white horse, Mescalito, he comes breezing through town. Bet your woman is up in bed with old
Casey Jones and the Grateful Dead, and the New Riders with Panama Red here at Westchester 107 WRNW in Briarcliff, Manor, where it is precisely noon. And time for news. One suspect is in custody, and a second man is being sought today in the first cop killing in the history of Larchmont Village. The dead officer, Arthur DeMatti of Larchmont, was shot last evening while investigating a report of a suspicious man on the railroad tracks behind the Date Shopwell supermarket on Palmer Avenue in Larchmont. The circumstances surrounding the shooting remained largely unexplained today. The 46-year-old officer, a 19-year veteran of the force, died in New Rochelle Hospital about 1 hour after being shot last night at 6. A suspect wounded and captured after trying to flee in DeMatte's patrol car was arraigned on a homicide charge under the name of Anthony Curtis Blanks, 23 years old, of St. Louis, Missouri. Blanks was first taken to the hospital for treatment of a wound in the thigh and later removed to the Westchester County Jail at Valhalla. DeMatte's teenage daughter Joyce, who was employed at the Date Shopwell, was among the first to see her wounded father. The incident began when a train engineer notified his dispatcher that he was forced to stop because a man was on the tracks. Lieutenant William Carasy, who was a desk officer at the time, says DeMatte checked in by radio when he arrived at the scene. The lieutenant says the next thing he heard was a voice on DeMatte's radio saying that a cop had been shot. Patrolman Kenneth Kahn, who rushed to the scene, said he found DeMatte shot twice in the chest. Larchmont police say Blanks tried to escape in DeMatte's patrol car by driving along a ravine near the track, but was apprehended by police. A spokesman for Con Ed says that all customers in Westchester who lost power during Saturday's wind and rainstorm once again have electricity today. Bush says there were about 25 customers scattered throughout the county at midnight that were still out, but that crews working overnight had them restored by 6 this morning. On Saturday, some 40,000 customers in Westchester lost power, more than double the 19,000 that lost power in the county during Hurricane Belle in August. Bush says the outage caused by Saturday's storm was one of the worst in the last 20 years in terms of power outages in Westchester. Jury selection is continuing today in the trial of 2 New York City men accused of kidnapping Seagram's whiskey heir Samuel Bronfman II from his mother's estate in the Westchester County community of Purchase 1 year ago. 2 jurors were selected yesterday, bringing to 10 the number chosen. They were Maurice DeSisto of Ossining, a machinist with Conrail, and Amelia Drycott, a housewife from Mount Vernon. 2 more jurors and 4 alternates were yet to be chosen for the trial, which State Supreme Court Justice George Beishan, Jr. estimates will take at least 2 weeks. Charged with the kidnapping are 38-year-old Mel Patrick Lynch and 54-year-old Dominic Byrne, both of Brooklyn. They were accused of abducting the 21-year-old Bronfman on August 8, 1975, and holding him 9 days for a $2 million ransom. The ransom was paid by Bronfman's father, Edgar, chief executive of a Seagram Whiskey Company. The money was recovered, and Bronfman was released unharmed. After a decade of discussion, a 6-month study, and a series of meetings, the town of Greenwich has decided what to do with a vacant high school building. The representative town meeting members voted 155 to 18, with 2 abstentions yesterday, to tear down the rear half of the building and renovate the remaining space. It's expected to cost $4.2 million. The approved plan will provide new town offices. It still depends on the availability of $650,000 to get it started. A month-long strike by drivers of United Parcel Service has caused the U.S. Postal Service in New England to hire more help and increase overtime operations to handle extra mail. A postal official in Stamford says the added packages going through the system has caused delivery delays of up to 4 days. Boston Postmaster Philip Sullivan says he has increased worker overtime and hired 100 mail handlers to handle the increase. Drivers of the Greenwich-based UPS went on strike September 15th after talks between their reps, the Teamsters Union, and their company broke down. No new talks are scheduled. For the first time in a week and a half, garbage is being picked up today in the town of Carmel, including Mahopac Village. Roderick Carr, owner of one of the firms that picks up garbage in Mahopac, F&H Garbage, says the carters have worked out an agreement whereby they are temporarily dumping the refuse at a site in New Milford, Connecticut. Carr says that they will be dumping the trash at the New Milford, Connecticut site on a temporary basis until the town of Carmel comes up with a permanent site. The town of Carmel has been without a permanent site for dumping garbage since earlier this year, when its old dumping site became filled up and was closed by the State Conservation Department. Also, a plan by the town to buy a new dumping site fell through. The garbage was being dumped in recent months at a site in Dutchess County, but that site was closed 1 week ago last Saturday. There had been no pickups at all in Carmel until this morning. Meanwhile, Carmel Town Supervisor Thomas Bergen, following 2 days of meetings with the town board, says that a solution may be announced at tonight's town board meeting. We'll have more after this.
Oh, don't smoke a fragrant smoke in here. Bad for you.
Doctors
Bad
say
boss.
you can get cancer from other people's cigarette smoke, see? That's why they make it illegal in state of Washington and California to smoke a white cigarette just about everywhere.
But it's getting more legal to smoke a funny cigarette almost anywhere.
Much easier to get good habit than bad very soon, very soon.
Yeah, well, it's bound to happen. I mean, they're moving forward in California and in New York too. I
It's
understand.
legal in Oregon. It's just a misdemeanor. In California, they're going.
Excuse me, Pete.
Just a misdemeanor.
No, it's a misdemeanor. Only women can do it.
Dutchess County lost its bid in state Supreme Court today to get out of having to pay for welfare. A state Supreme Court justice today ruled in favor of the state Social Services Department effort to force the Dutchess County legislature to appropriate about $100,000 for welfare programs. Justice Joseph Judice ruled that the legislature should provide about $55,000 for welfare. Dutchess County officials have argued that the county does not have to fund the medical assistance and home relief programs through the end of the year. Justice Judice rejected a legal move by the county to force the state to assume the county's share of the welfare program. The federal government funds 50% of the welfare programs, and the state and county share the rest. But local officials in Dutchess protesting the rising cost of welfare have contended they don't have sufficient funds to carry the programs. They're seeking a shift of their position to the cost to the state. In a recent similar case, the State Court of Appeals ruled against Erie County in its attempt to have the state pick up its welfare tab. Two top officials of the Hare Krishna movement and the group itself have been indicted on charges of unlawful imprisonment involving the brainwashing of a Queens woman and a Boston man. The unusual charges grew out of a grand jury investigation of kidnapping allegations against the mother of the woman and a private detective who specializes in the rescue of cultists. Named in the indictment by the Queens grand jury are 24-year-old Angus Murphy, president of the Hare Krishnas, and 25-year-old Harold Conley, a supervisor for the cult. Murphy and Conley are accused of the unlawful imprisonment of 23-year-old Marilee Kreschauer of Queens and 22-year-old Edward Shapiro of Boston. In addition, Murphy was accused of attempted grand larceny for allegedly trying to extort $20,000 from Shapiro's father, a prominent Boston physician. Both Marilee Kreschauer and Edward Shapiro were ordered held as material witnesses in the case, and bail was set at $50,000 each. A hearing was set for today. The Collegiate Association for the Research of Principles has been ousted from the Columbia University campus in Manhattan by a vote of the students. The organization was ousted from Columbia after it was alleged the organization was a front for Reverend Sun Myung Moon's Unification Church. A 6-month investigation by the school's Religious and Humanitarian Center, the Earl Hall Center, disclosed that the association was used to collect funds and recruit members for the Unification Church. Bob Martin, chairman of the board of the center, says it was suspected all along that the organization was a front. Martin says the investigation showed a pattern of concealment and deceit that characterized their activities. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Greater New York has requested a 26% increase in hospitalization premium rates for 4 million policyholders in New York City, Long Island, 10 other downstate counties, including Westchester, Rockland, Putnam, Dutchess, Ulster, Orange, Sullivan, Columbia, Greene, and Delaware. At the same time, the insurer filed on October 4th for increases of 10% for surgical medical coverage and 29% for coverage that supplements basic Medicare protection for persons over 65. If granted by the State Insurance Department, the boost in rates will be the 6th for Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Greater New York since 1971. The group family surgical medical plan that now costs an average $9 a month would be increased to $10 monthly. The supplemental Medicare plan, which now costs just over $3 a month, would go up to just over $4. In August of 75, Blue Cross asked for a 20% rate increase, but was granted a hike of 4% by the State Insurance Department. And as far as sports is concerned, Philadelphia Phillies manager Danny Ozark has been named Major League Manager of the Year by the Weekly Sporting News. The newspaper also named New York Yankees catcher Thurman Munson as American League Player of the Year, and Cincinnati Reds outfielder George Foster as National League Player of the Year. And of course, the Yankees go for the clincher in the American League Championship Series this afternoon with their ace, Catfish Hunter, on the mound. The KC Royals were countered with ex-Yankee Larry Gurr. We'll have the revised forecast after this.
Adopted Park is a community service project sponsored by the Yonkers Jaycees and the Yonkers Department of Parks, Recreation and Conservation. For further information, call 963-3980, extension 451. Adopted Park, 'cause they need love too.
Mercy's sake, sunny, breezy, and milder this afternoon. Highs near 70. Partly cloudy tonight, lows in the upper 40s. Tomorrow, partly sunny, breezy, and cooler. Highs in the low 60s. Chance of rain 10% this afternoon, 20% tonight, 10% tomorrow. For Friday, sunny and cooler. Under really neat-looking skies, it's 58 degrees. Well, from Westchester 107, that's what you call your basic noon news and weather. Good afternoon, I'm Bob Maroney, and for the Zipper Gripper on the by, this is Skyhooks.
Cause I'm good
92.7. Good morning, it's Maroney the Maniac. You know it's a mad world when the graffiti reads, Gorbachev is a weenie. Out. Well, do you suffer from neuritis, neuralgia, arthritis? How about seborrhea? Or the heartbreak of psoriasis? Well, here at LIR 92.7, we have the cure. It's in between days. LIR 92.7, where you hear the best new music first. Well, that wraps things up for me. I'm Maroney the Maniac. Want to thank Carrie, who is womaning the airline even as I speak. Donna is busily preparing for her program right now. She's reading the comics. Come on. It's Peter Wolf and Ooh Wee Diddly Bop on LIR 92.7. Former Screamer of the Week from Dale. I'm just about dressed. Bozio and Missing Persons and Destination Unknown. China Crisis in there. Seconds of Pleasure, a fine tune called Pull Me Up. David Bowie, OMD's Women 3 on Laserdisc this morning. Wherever I lay my hat, someone's bound to step on it. Paul Young. And Prefab Sprout, produced by Tommy Dobie. And he's a close personal friend of mine. That's why I can call him Tommy. And Appetite here on LIR 92.7. Good morning, it's Maroney the Maniac. Want to remind you that at 6 a.m. this very morning, you will be regaled by Larry the Duck and Steve the Pistol Jones. Former Screamer of the Week from Joel Jackson. That's stepping out here on LIR 92.7, where you hear the best new music. First, it's Pet Shop Boys and Opportunities. Another former Screamer from Malcolm McLaren. That's Madam Butterfly. On Laserdisc, Brian Ferry's Stone Woman and Mother's Talk, the extended version from Tears for Fears here on LIR 92.7. Well, the baseball strike may become a reality at 7:35 tonight. However, your worst nightmares have come to fruition. On LIR 92.7 Listener Alert, this Wednesday night, the WLIR Heavy Hitters take on the Nassau County Young Republicans, replacing Major League Baseball. Game time is 8:15 p.m. at the New Bridge Road Park, Belmore. That's the Heavy Hitter softball team this Wednesday night against the Nassau County Young Republicans. Well, pulling out his personal file, we find that Nick Kershaw's definitely into challah bread, hence Don Quixote on LIR 92.7, where you hear the best new music first. It's LIR 92.7, where you hear the best new music first. Phil Oakey, Giorgio Moroder, and Goodbye Bad Times. Ta-ta, don't let that door hit you in the butt. A former Screamer of the Week from Fiction Factory, it's New Time. What's a Mother to Do? Julie Brown and I Like Him Big and Stupid. Seconds of Pleasure, one of the most highly requested tunes these past few weeks with Pull Me Up. And Duran Duran on Laserdisc and Planet Earth here on LIR 92.7. Good morning, it's Maroney the Maniac. And you know, tomorrow night, WLIR's Willoughby celebrates his birthday. That's amazing. I didn't realize he had one, but it'll happen at Lacage in Levittown. He'll choose a winner of the Willoughby Midnight MC Contest. And to go with him in a chauffeured limousine to see Squeeze at the Nassau Coliseum on August 17th to meet the band after the show. And another winner and guest will be chosen at Lacage. The WLIR vinyl van's going to be there with Squeeze tickets and WLIR t-shirts.
Call us celebrating with the best grand opening sale price at Say.
Get Shaker sweaters, $9.99. Sweats, tops, or bottoms in 12 colors, $6.99. Sneakers, high and low tops from $9.99 in Concord's new active shoe department. Celebrate the new Concord in North Babylon. Concord, the best in the USA. Tonight's a lip sync contest, and this Tuesday it's a $9,200 dance contest at 21 North in Port Chester. All right. Don't you just love Go West on LIR 92.7. Their daily double of talking heads. Moon Rocks here on LIR 92.7, preceded by Walk It Down. Roxy music on Laserdisc, the Laserdisc Mix, especially for you. New from Kate Bush, Running Up That Hill. What a fine tune. David Bowie and Loving the Alien, as long as he's got that green card. And Prefab Sprout with Appetite on LIR 92.7. Oh my God! That means just one thing. The horses are on the track. It is now post time. Time to give away a pair of tickets to see Katrina and the Waves at Miller Music at Jones Beach this Saturday night, August 10th, for a lucky WLIR listener. Now, if you want to win, call the airline. It's Krista and Anthony at 516-485-0927 or 718-845-0927. We'll be taking the 7th caller
More free tickets for Miller Music brought to you by Miller High Life and the station at Dares, LIR 92.7. It's 85 degrees currently, and here is the LIR weather for the listening area, including Nassau, Suffolk, the city, Westchester, Rockland, New Jersey, and Connecticut. Sunny and hot, high around 92.7, cooler along the shore. Clear and warm tonight, low about 75 degrees tomorrow. Sunny, hot, and hazy after that morning fog. Highs again about 92.7, cooler along the shore. And WLIR's Malibu Sioux has Long Island's official beach report every single morning, 7 days a week at 9:30 a.m. here at LIR 92.7.
85.